there's an old saying that what gets measured gets done.
Right.
And and you have these key performance indicators or KPIs
Right.
that represent a set of measures focusing on those aspects of organization performance that are most critical for the current and future success of an organization. So,
Right.
have you thought of KPIs? What is your view on KPIs when it comes to effective, organizational change management?
Sure. Yeah. So, as a licensing and regulatory agency, KPIs are very difficult to measure.
Yeah.
A lot of what I'm working on would be considered overhead in a consulting context, implementing efficiency and consistency. So, for us, indicators of success will be implementing the Evidence Act and the federal data strategy in a way that the staff finds useful. So, going beyond the check boxes of the requirements, like inventory and data policies, and actually creating an inventory that the staff find useful in their daily work, or creating written policies that the staff refer to as a helpful guide rather than a set of requirements. So I think it's a bit different for us.
Yeah, and I bet I bet it is, and I want to take a step back and say in most organizations, change starts from the top because change is inherently unsettling for people really at all levels of the organization. And when change is on the horizon, all eyes turn to the leadership team, for direction, for support and courage, to help guide them through this change. So, how do you communicate direction, support, and courage to the employees during change?
Yeah, so I think it's massively different in different organizations, and that goes back to what I said before about reading your organization. So I can only speak to how it's been for us.
Yeah.
The Evidence Act and the federal data strategy have been huge drivers of our formal effort to create change. And these mandates have come directly from the legislative branch and the executive branch. And we as organizational leaders are letting the organization know that we want to fulfill these mandates in a way that's useful to the organization and the individuals, and that we're not going to implement it just as an exercise to check boxes. Signal that we have leadership support. We've decided to start with a very small data governance council, and it's made up of 3 voting members, a representative from our chair's office, the CIO, and the CDAO. So we have a Chief Data and Analytics Officer, CDAO. That core group of 3 people prioritize and approve the approach that we're taking based on the priorities and the resources of the agency. And then from there, we really do work individually with the CDOs of each of the bureaus and offices. And we have long had CDOs for each of our major divisions. And we spend a lot of time listening and asking as little of them as possible while we work behind the scenes to bridge the gaps between what the staff needs and what the mandates are. And hopefully we don't present them with a big ask before showing them how these mandates can benefit them.
Right. And and that's really great insight.